I wanted to start with talking about competition in the diagnostic space, because that seems to be heating up considerably and at a really fast pace. We have the likes of established hospital companies, mom and pop diagnostic companies, as well as the ones which already exist, the likes of SRL, as well as the likes of Metropolis, Thyrocare. And now with bigger pockets as well, supporting the likes of Thyrocare with an offline as well as an online presence. What do you think about margins going forward in the diagnostic space, and how commoditized do you think this business is going to get?
Good afternoon. Thank you. So I think this space is really heating up, and as we see currently, we have about 16 to 18% of the industry is in the organized sector, whereas the rest of the market is in unorganized sector, and there is a scope for consolidation, and we continue to see that consolidation happening in various forms. And this digital consolidation is also something new which has happened. But as we all know, the industry has always been in the forefront of digital transformation, even before the COVID pandemic. So in the last 10 years, the industry has done a lot, and companies like SRL, we have been giving reports to patients through digital models. People have been booking tests through our apps. They have been archiving and storing reports and viewing reports through our apps, and booking home visits through the apps. So the digital transformation has always been fast-tracked in the diagnostic sector, and it has been further improved by the COVID pandemic. So I think with that happening, we are going to see more and more investments in the digital models, and with the pandemic-driven home collection increase, we'll also see more activity in the home collection segment as well.
Okay, but what happens to margins? And Anand, I'm talking specifically about your arm as well, because your margins have been much lower than what your peers have been reporting, even in a year where COVID has actually benefited the companies quite tremendously. So do you think that margins would be under threat at this point, simply because people will be offering lower cost home collections, as well as this online presence gets ramped up? So what is your sense particularly on margins for the industry? Will they be able to be maintained at those elevated levels of around 35-40% and particularly for SRL?
So the margins will continue to remain on the similar lines, while SRL will continue to improve their margins, because we have built a lot of capacity over the last few years. As you know, we have the largest network of labs. We have 400 plus labs in the country, whereas our peers have much lesser, even half of what we have. So which means that we have already have the capacity. On this capacity has to be, the utilization has to improve on this capacity, and that's how we will also be, moving into the margins that our peers have. But at the same time, what I would like to also tell you is that, all these online e-pharmacies have always been offering diagnostics as a category, and they have had back-end arrangements with other labs to provide them these services. And this is not something new that is going to happen. This has always been there, and their traction has been more on self-driven tests, especially of routine nature, and those which are commonly used in preventive health. So those are the tests which are usually offered more in the forms of bundled packages for consumers to take. So this is not something new which is going to happen because of this particular M&A, but this has been there because all the e-pharmacies have diagnostics as a category.
Okay. Anand, this has also been a year of consolidation really for the diagnostics industry, and that's a given considering the kind of valuation run-up that we've seen. It's one of the best years which might not come back for the diagnostic industry as a whole. So give us a sense in terms of whether you would be interested in buying any asset. I know you bought out your JV in Kerala, but anything more that you would be interested in probably beefing up your online presence, one. Two, would you probably look to maybe sell part amount of stake or a full amount of stake to a bigger online company, and any sort of exit plans for the PEs?
So we are looking at all options for value unlocking as well as value creation for all our stakeholders. And inorganic opportunities is one of the key aspects of our growth. And we continue to scout for opportunities across all geographies, especially in all the markets that we operate in. So we are looking at, we are at this point of time itself, we are evaluating a few opportunities for acquisition, and we'll continue to track this.
For the other part, Mr. Anand, is SRL Diagnostics on the block?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Anand. We're going to leave it on that note, but it's a pleasure getting your views in as well. So that's some important perspective which is coming in, that a lot of these online or pharmacy companies already had a diagnostic presence. So obviously, Pharmeasy would be ramping it up with the Thyrocare buyout. But on